Wow, this mug is really big, isn't it? Hi friends, so welcome to my February wrap-up. I had a really good reading month in February. I don't know, I was just on a roll. It was a short month, but I got through quite a lot, so I'm just going to dive right into what I read. The first thing was I finished reading The Snowman by Jo Nesbo. Now, started reading this in January and continued through into Feb, and I really enjoyed this actually. This was my first ever Jo Nesbo experience. My first ever Harry Hole mystery crime thriller. That's what it is, it's a crime book. And I really enjoyed it. I quite like Harry, and he's quite a flawed individual. So I'm just going to read what this is about from the back. Soon the first snow will come. A young boy wakes to find his mother missing. Outside he sees her favourite scarf wrapped around the neck of a snowman. And then he will appear again. Detective Harry Hole soon discovers that an alarming number of wives and mothers have gone missing over the years. And when the snow is gone, when a second woman disappears, Harry's worst suspicion is confirmed. A serial killer is operating on his home turf. He will have taken someone else. It's really good. It's set in Oslo and sorry, excuse me. It's set in Oslo. Harry is our detective, and it's there's not been a serial killer in Oslo before, and so because these women are disappearing, not necessarily being murdered, their bodies aren't being found. It's really interesting that Harry and his team connect the dots, and there's some quite kind of gruesome stuff in here, quite gross things that I was a bit like, ooh, ew, but in a good way, because it was quite shocking. I have written a blog about this, and I will link that review below. And in the blog, I kind of focus on the differences between the book and the film, because I wanted to read the book before I saw the film, because I really like Michael Fassbender and I love a crime at night thriller, and this was being set in Oslo as well. It just looked stunning with the snow and everything, so I really wanted to see the film, and I did, but I wanted to read the book first, and thank heavens that I did, because the book is so much better than the film. Like the climax of this book, where the killer is kind of unmasked and Harry is in pursuit of him, it just gets so personal and actual edge of seat stuff, because I just didn't know what was going to happen. Worth saying right now that this is the 7th book in the Harry Hole kind of chronicles, and it didn't hinder me, this being my first read. I thought that perhaps there would be lots of little anecdotes and things from previous books that might sort of pull me out of the narrative, and they do mention other cases and other police officers that are no longer with them for various reasons, but it didn't stop me enjoying. It didn't take me out too much from the book. So I really recommend this, and I'm really looking forward to reading some more Jo Nesbo. Actually, I have bought a couple, one on Kindle and one, The Thirst is his new one, so I've got that too on my TBR. But yeah, no, I really recommend this. I thought I really enjoyed. Worth a go if you do like a bit of crime at 9. I might actually have to take this off. Whew. It's a bit warm, lads, a bit warm. It's weird. Has everybody coped with the snow okay? Because the snow has come and gone with us. It was here for a couple of days, then it disappeared, and now we're just left with rain, and it's still a bit cold, but, you know, we can cope. Let's have a little drink. Oh, suddenly I'm not in black. This is a pumpkin spice latte, by the way. One of my faves. I didn't know what to read next after that, because I like to kind of punctuate my reading, go through a different sort of mood, and I went into 3 Things About Elsie by Joanna Cannon. This was recommended on Simon's channel on Savidge Reads. He just raved about this. I will link below, and I had to go and get it. The cover is delightful, and I read this book really quickly, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. Really. It has been nominated for the something prize, Women's Literature Prize. Let me get the name of it for you. Out of breath, speaking is hard. I'm just going to go to Simon's Twitter, because I know that he's mentioned it. He mentioned it earlier. Hi Simon, if you're watching, by the way. Thanks for watching. Congratulations as well on your wedding, marriage. Fantastic, lovely pictures. Hope you're enjoying your honeymoon in Venice. it's the 2018 Women's Prize for Fiction long list. It is part of that, and so deserving. This book, let me read what it says, what it's about. So 84-year-old Florence has fallen in her flat at Cherry Tree Home for the elderly. As she waits to be rescued, Florence wonders if a terrible secret from her past is about to come to light, and if the charming new resident is who he claims to be. Why does he look exactly like a man who died 60 years ago? This book is from several different perspectives, one of them being Florence, and she is a feisty lady in this Cherry Tree care home, and she, like the blurb says, she has fallen and she's hurt herself, she's waiting to be found, and it kind of flashes back to instances that have happened in the care home in her kind of recent history, and then instances that happened in her past, and it really deals with dementia and the kind of the final chapter of life, I guess, but it also deals with like regret and remorse, and just it's really very interesting. Florence is a really interesting character, and I really felt for her in lots of her her chapters, and specifically the ones that were her actually lying on the floor hoping to be rescued, and she kind of imagines what would happen if who her rescue is going to be, and how they would react, and where they take her and how they deal with it, and each time it's a different kind of fiction that she makes up in her mind, and it's really moving because I think we've all had or have grandparents, and we all worry or worried that something like this might happen, that they might fall and hurt themselves and be waiting to be found, and so that resonated with me personally, you know, because I lost my grandmother last year, so yeah, but it's a really it made me laugh, this book. It made me kind of sigh. There's some really bittersweet moments and some really really touching stuff in here, and I really enjoyed it. Read it really quickly, but that's a bad thing. I'm really glad I bought it actually, because I think this is one I'm going to revisit in my life. I really liked it, and now I really want to read Joanna Cannon's other novel that I have not got yet, but I do want to read it. As well, Simon is doing a chat with Joanna Cannon in Waterstones. I will put a link below for you, because if I was in Liverpool, I would be going to see that. So if you are there, you must go. Really good book. Please go and read this. Yeah, it's worth saying as well, it isn't just about a lady at a care home wondering whether she's going to be rescued. There is something from her past that she wants to tell. She wants to tell her story, and she knows that saying it might get her in trouble. I'm not going to spoil this for you, there's no spoilers here, but at the same time, there is a sort of mystery element, and obviously there are 3 things about Elsie, which you're going to find out what they are, but there's also this kind of strange idea of sort of fate and interwoven lives and things, and I love that sort of semi-supernatural element, tiny supernatural, not really but tiny, but really good, really worth the reading. Thank you for the recommendation. And then I moved swiftly into a book. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to take my slippers off because I'm wearing these fantastic slippers from Animal. They're called Bolos. I'm going to show you them. They're furry and they're beautiful and they keep you so warm, but up here now I'm actually sweating. Okay, so I finished reading 3 Things About Elsie, and I knew that I wanted to go to a children's book after that, because I've just read a crime book, I've read a kind of fiction book that's kind of set now. So I went to Nevermoor with Morrigan Crow. This is by Jessica Townsend. This book was bought on a bit of a whim, and I really liked the cover, and I read it on my week off. I love this book. It was sort of reviewed as the new Harry Potter, which I think is something that you have to be very careful about, and careful how you take, because lots of books are being kind of heralded as the next Harry Potter, and there isn't going to be a next Harry Potter. This book, though, does have similarities with what J.K. Rowling wrote. There is a girl in this called Morrigan, and she is cursed. Let me read what it says in there for you. Not only does Morrigan Crow's curse mean she's blamed for all bad luck, she's also destined to die on her 11th birthday. She bravely accepts her doom, but in a very surprising twist of fate, before the clock strikes 12 on eventide and the howling shadow wolves arrive, she's whisked away by a remarkable man called Jupiter North and taken to the secret city of Nevermoor. Morrigan cannot believe her luck when she's given a once-in-a-lifetime chance to join the Wondrous Society, a place of mystery, magic and protection. Only first she must pass 4 impossible trials using an exceptional talent which she doesn't have. Racing against time, can Morrigan claim her place in this wild, wondrous city before the shadows catch up with her. So, that's what this book is about on the blurb. Step boldly. Oh yes. Now, this book does have similarities with Harry Potter, okay? Let's just put that out there. I have done a review of this as well. I'll put all the links below. It is about a girl who gets taken to a magical world out of her own. And there's a cast of just beautifully bonkers characters. They're all really wild and different and a bit barking, but in a good way. And she goes to stay in this hotel with Jupiter North, pictured here. And there are trials that she has to go through that are sort of, kind of the idea of it reminded me of the Triwizard Tournament. It's nothing like the Triwizard Tournament, but something like that. It is beautiful, this book. Morrigan goes to this fantastical world where there are giant cats that can speak, and there are vampires and ghouls and people with all these different magical gifts. And what Jessica Townsend does in this book, I think for me, is she creates these kind of iconic images that are going to last with me. I can see this being turned into a film, and just purely because the images that she has created have stuck. You know, there's certain things that when you read Harry Potter you remember. You know, you do remember the Hogwarts Express, you do remember Diagon Alley, you remember Ollivanders, there's just lots of little images that she wrote that you remember, and it's similar in this. I'm not going to spoil any. I'm actually not. I really, really want you to read this. I just highly recommended it. It's written very nicely, very simply. There's a nice little mystery that runs through it that I didn't expect. And the character, I mean, Jupiter is fantastic. He kind of reminds me of the Doctor from Doctor Who, specifically David Tennant's Doctor, because he just kind of turns up with this wacky machine, this like vehicle, and he saves Morrigan and takes her away into this other magical land, and there he kind of just wants her to blossom, because in her life she hasn't blossomed. I mean, she's cursed, and she knows she's going to die on her 11th birthday. How do you live with that? How does your family live with that? And it's a really, really interesting. She's orphaned in a way, but in a glorious way. It's just a really, really, really good book. I highly recommend this. And if you get it now from Waterstones, not only have they released a paperback with a lovely sprayed red edge, but they've got an extra chapter in there. So you have to do this. Please give yourselves the luxury of buying this book. And I know I've shown this before in my book haul, but it's got this beautiful like image on the inside of the cover. This is Jackalfax, I think, which is where, yeah, that's Jackalfax. There's the clock tower with this really magical thing, which you'll see in the book. And these are the Hunt of Smoke and Shadow. I can't remember all the words and what they're all called, but honestly, guys, cannot recommend this enough. And I loved it. I loved it. Really, really, really good. It is the start of a series, and I think that in that way as well, it is going to be similar to Harry Potter. And I did really like the trials, and it's just wacky and wonderful. Please go read this. February, like I said, it was a really good reading month. I did move straight into, this is an Alex Rider novel by Anthony Horowitz. This is Scorpia. This is book 5 in the series. Now, I started reading the Alex Rider books last year. I am a bit of an Anthony Horowitz fan, and I haven't read these. I've read his Power of 5 books, and I've read a couple of his Sherlock Holmes books. So I wanted to read this series, and I got it. I got a box set of them, and I really enjoy them. They're very different to other books that I read. This is not like Morrigan Crow. This is quite specifically aimed at kind of boys. you know, 9 to 12-year-old boys maybe who like, he's a spy. Alex is a spy. He's a 14-year-old spy, and it's all about the guns and the cars and the different kind of like James Bondy tricks and things that he does and gets himself into, the little scrapes. But this is a really good one so far. I should say I haven't finished it. I am on page 250, so I'm getting there. But this one is book 5. So this is about the truth about Alex Rider's past lies with the criminal organisation known as Scorpia, and Alex must make a choice: work for MI6 or betray everything he believes in. Once stung, twice as deadly, Alex wants revenge. It is quite good. Alex has gone through a bit of the ringer in the first 4 books, and this 5th book is where Anthony Horowitz starts to delve into Alex's personal life and his parents and what happened to his parents, and how that makes Alex feel. And I should say now that this book isn't bogged down with feelings. It's really more about the crime boss that Alex has to defeat, and they are all kind of wacky James Bond villains with like scars and fluffy white cats and things, but that's okay, nothing wrong with that. And in this one, it's a bit more interesting because there is this secret organisation, criminal organisation called Scorpia, that Alex seeks out because they have the answers to who his parents were, because he never met his parents. They died when he was a baby. So who his parents were, what they did, and kind of how they died and why. So you do get into a bit more of Alex's past in this, which I really enjoy. I'm really enjoying. Like I said, I'm only 250 pages in, but the Alex Rider novels are being adapted for an ITV show, which kind of excites me actually, because they're good. They're really, really good. I haven't seen the film Stormbreaker, and the TV show is starting from the 2nd book, which is Point Blank, I think. Point Blank or Blanc. That's a good one. But the 4th one was really, really good. I recommend, you know, if you want like a really, really simple, quick read, this will be done really fast. Read these because it's kind of exciting. It is like watching a James Bond film, but with added kind of teenage stuff. So yeah, what's not to love? So I'm currently reading that, and that is what I read in February. It was a very successful month. Really pleased with it. Really pleased with all the book choices that I made, and I just thoroughly enjoyed all of those books for all entirely different reasons. So I hope everybody else is having a very, very good reading time at the moment. There seems to be a lot of books about, and, you know, as there should be. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.